Breakdowns.
Welcome back to the Chill Sounds and Breakdowns podcast. We are on episode 85, and we got some wild people in here today. Honestly, like, that's a real gang sign. We're gonna have to blur that out.
That's so sad.
But today we have the Dispo Boys, Dispo Daddies, Dispositions. How are y'all doing today?
Hi.
We're good.
Hello. Hi.
Hello.
Hi. Jameson's off camera. Y'all can't see him. Sorry.
Yeah, say hi, James.
Howdy, guys.
Yeah, if y'all keep
I'm
watching,
Dally.
we can afford it.
I play the pizza.
Oh, no.
That's crazy.
Oh, is the roasting already started?
That's gonna be so bad.
We were actually going to kill him on the podcast because he said Nickelback sucked the other day, but he didn't show up.
Did he mean it?
Oh, he meant it.
No, he was 100% gonna show up, and then whenever I was like, "Hey, just so y'all know, it's 3:00 tomorrow. It's 3:00 tomorrow," and I even replied to it, "It's 3:00 tomorrow." And then today he was like, AJ said it was at 7. I'm like, you're talking about the guy that's not even gonna come. So,
Ethan said it no less than 5 times.
Yeah.
No less.
Even I knew, and that means he knew.
That's
That
an
means-
accomplishment if Jameson knows.
Oh my god! But y'all made it here, and I'm happy with that. All right, that's good.
Let's rock it, baby.
It's got three fits. It's not bad.
some of the ones that matter.
Oh wow! Shots fired already.
Well, now.
Well, let's talk about
Besides
some of
AJ.
your. I'm like, is AJ just officially joined the band
I like
like
AJ.
not too long ago?
He made us make a post.
He made a post.
post.
Yeah.
It's important. Make him feel special. He's got his own little like tongue sticking out move.
I know.
We got to celebrate him.
Boogers and tongues.
The
You
little
said boogers
Italian
and
man.
tongue?
He always sticks up his nose.
What?
He almost always has a drumstick up his nose almost every show.
Interesting.
It's a drummer thing. Like, we just can't get him to stop.
He's got a problem.
Yeah.
All right. It's all right. But I guess getting into it, I mean, you guys have dropped quite a bit of music. You dropped, first off, this EP that is fucking wild. First of all, like, absolutely, it's not. I kind of was already expecting it to be all over the place because of what I was hearing about it. Because every time I would speak to y'all, like, it was the same thing. It's like, oh, you have no idea, like, what we're doing. I'm like,
Sorry.
what are you doing?
I'm kicking stuff.
We can't afford new stuff, okay? If this shit goes, it's done.
I have replacement equipment. It's hard.
Just position sued by Noise Rock.
But yeah, so it starts up. I think so. Death Rattle is the first single that y'all dropped off of the song, which is heavy as shit. Like, and I think it's like what people were like. Okay, this is what I know Dispositions for. So that's kind of the formula that I had seen. And then live, y'all were playing, which now I know is.
You got it.
Yes. Son, half.
Yep.
Half
empty.
Half empty song.
Half empty Black Sun.
We
Black
call it
Sun.
all of them.
But what was the original? So the original
The
name.
original name was I Would Still Fuck Mia Khalifa.
Yeah. What was the ultimate decision in changing that?
It's always going to be changed to something applicable, I guess. Because
Yeah.
I do this thing where, like, we get a demo together, and Jameson, if he sends the song, we'll give it some kind of, like,
I'm sad.
actual applicable, like, regret, song for the rain or something like that. And
Spot on.
Spot on.
Assault the senses.
assault the senses. But I always name them something fucking stupid, just completely irrelevant. Just because it's just funny. I think it's funny that way.
Yeah.
And it always ends up kind of making it to the final stage with that name until we change it before.
We all call it that, and then we never know what we're gonna call it.
Yeah.
And then we call it the new name, and then we still don't call it the correct
Like
name.
when you're playing it and setting up a set
it's
list.
still Mia on the set list.
Yeah.
It's still, yeah.
We'll run and be like, hey, we're doing Mia, okay, yeah. And then we do that. Occasionally, some of the songs get the real name. Like, I don't call Death Rattle anything else anymore. I can't remember what the old name for it was. I call it Death Rattle.
Oh, yeah. I
Yeah,
don't
so
remember what it
some
is.
of them get the tip, but
I just sent one to AJ the other day. I call it the Shane Gillis thing. If you're good at sex, you're gay.
Dude, that stand-up set that just came out was fucking fantastic.
it's so good. Oh, yeah, Rampage. We call it
Rampage.
Yeah, we still call that one. So that's
Oh,
Yon
no.
Shakudama. But we call it Rampage
I
still.
can't even fucking pronounce that one.
Shakudama.
Yon Shakudama.
Yon Shakudama?
It's not
It's a
hard,
fire
but they're
word.
like, I can't say say the word.
What is it?
It's the biggest firework that's made, as far as I'm aware. That's what Google told me.
That's what Google. Blame Google. But yeah, so I was hearing that song, and I was like, what the fuck is this song? Because they always say from the intro, it was already like sounding something different, and then playing it, that's when I was starting to really realize, like, oh, I have no idea what this project is gonna be like. Which, when I spoke to you when you came on the podcast last, is what you kind of touched on about talking. Like, we want to be able to play with any fucking body ever, like at shows, like you be able to open yourself up to like be able to literally play any type of show, be on like the super heavy shows or be on,
pop gigs, deathcore gigs, hardcore gigs, anything.
Yeah, and open it up. And and now even with like I know everyone's favorite song is like the last song on the track. It seems to be like it's what I've noticed. Like,
River Speak.
Yeah. Oh yeah, like I was looking at a few of the posts where it was like, oh really? Yeah. And I know you were telling me like about working on like country songs. So this is that like to open more like gigs like in that direction as well, or really just something you wanted to try?
It literally came from a riff that I just had an acoustic. Fuck off. I just had an acoustic riff that I was playing. I sent it to the band chat, and then within 12 hours, I woke up to an entire song done from them.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
So we never write because, I want to open a country show. We don't write a song because, I want to open a pop show. We write that stuff because we like it. That's it. That's all.
Yeah.
And if it so happens to open that door, then we're kicking it the fuck in. So, like he said, he had a country riff and he was like, I really kind of like this riff. And I was kind of trying to work with it, just the audio. And I said, okay, hold the phone, Jameson, re-record that. So he immediately got on his computer, knocked that shit out, sent me the stems of it, and then I added in all the stomp clap stuff and all that shit and all the extra shit in the backgrounds and then the big rock finish. Mm-hmm. And yeah, it just, that's how we work most of the time. We just find a wave and we go, fuck, and then we barrel through until it's done.
Well, that's cool that you are still bringing all these like different ideas to the same project of Disposition, because like now at this point, like Dispositions, I feel like it's just rebirthed into something completely new than what it originally started as. Is that consciously, was that something that you were looking forward to doing?
100%. So we Jameson and I talked about, how long have you been in the band now?
Like 6 years.
Yeah.
Feels weird. Isn't that long already?
Right? That's how I feel.
Shit.
So we've been around since 2015. And then he joined maybe 2 years in, something like that. And we always talked about doing everything. We want to do 80s. Literally everything on this EP is just what him and I talked about for 5 years straight. Yeah. But just with past members and stuff like that, we never got to the point of being able to. We were, I wouldn't necessarily say one trick pony, but we were very cornered into doing one thing.
On brand. Like
yeah. And so with him joining and not being just flat out deathcore vocalist, metalcore vocalist, whatever you want to call it, it allowed us to open up everything. And so with all of us having very similar tastes of being such a broad spectrum of liking everything, and also kind of figuring out that we can write everything too.
Yeah.
That's the hard part.
Yeah. Like we can want to write it, but we figured out that we could write it. So we just kind of started doing it. So the EP kind of went, what did we start out with? Like 20 songs?
Something like that.
What the fuck?
Oh, there's still there's 90 songs sitting there just to be
With
figured
this
out
shit
later.
Yeah, we started off. So there's just riffs and stuff. So we wouldn't count those. We narrowed it down to about 20 from like
a lot.
Yeah.
So we narrowed it down to actually 20 songs, and then sat in a room, narrowed those down to like, okay, what are we gonna do? Like, are we gonna do an album? Are we gonna do an EP? Are we gonna just do singles again? And we realized with him joining, like, well, let's get him at least a chunk of songs out where we can get rid of maybe some of the old ones live, because those are they're dated.
Yeah.
Our
Pain
first
to play
songs
through.
that I ever wrote for any of the Dispo stuff, and they're just they're not that much fun to play anymore live.
Yeah.
We just got so sick of it. And so yeah.
Well, I think that's one thing that like earlier before like I really got into like writing and being in a band and stuff like that. It's stuff like as just a fan and spectator, I wouldn't understand. Like it's like, why are you not playing the songs that I like? And I was very like hard headed like on that. It's like it makes no sense. Like why are you trying this stuff? And then becoming like an artist and trying to write and doing music, I'm like, oh shit, I just want to write stuff that I like, that I like want to play live and make it fun. And yeah, once you get to that point where I'm like, this isn't fun anymore, you know, you want to, especially if you're working on new stuff and as many songs as you are working on, it's like, oh, we want to play all this cool new shit that we're like working on, which reflects kind of where you are as a band together. Those old ones are gonna have to, you know, take a back seat for a while. Like they had their plenty of time to shine, especially because I remember when we were playing our songs for like fucking ever. Like the newest song on the EP when we dropped it was 3 years old. It was fucking it was done. And I'm like, it's cool that people know it now, but like I'm over it. I'm over it. Yeah. I'm like it's just done. And especially I mean with the writing force that y'all have like right now, like I can't imagine like you wanting to still play some of those old ones, even though like I said they're fan favorites, but at the end of the day,
we play one off the old EP.
Yeah.
And it's the only one that is just like kind of rang true that we've never been able to get rid of is Void.
It's
just a solid song.
You can't. It fucks everybody. Yeah. There's something about it live that we'll even go play like with Buck Cherry and we still played that one and it worked.
Holy shit.
So,
that was fun. You had to like, they were talking to me like, okay, maybe if you could like dial back the screaming and maybe like butt rock the deathcore stuff. And I kind of thought about it and I was like, maybe I could.
We tried.
But I have a better idea. And I walked out on stage before we started and I was like, because keep in mind, it's a crowd of people for Buck Cherry. So you've got 40 to 50-year-old dudes.
T-shirts.
Affliction T-shirts. Wine moms. And that's like it out there.
That's so true.
They're also, it was not sold out, but it was real close.
It was within like.
Where was this one at?
It was
sold out.
Real? Okay.
Yeah. Buck Cherry, that was a lot of people.
Either way, it was a batshit amount of people. And
there's 1,400 in there.
1,400. I had to walk out there and I was like, hey, listen to me. You don't have to like the music. You don't have to like us. Just be entertained by what we're going to do up here. Trust me, you're going to have a fun time if that's how you come into it. And everybody kind of like cheer, like clapping. Oh, yeah. By the end of that shit, we had them eating out of our hand. It was fucking, they were having a blast. And we were still, I was pig squealing and everything. It was awesome.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Full blown, just all that stupid shit. They loved it.
Because at the end of the day, like shows are like entertainment.
It's
like
exactly
it's to be entertained. Like that's what the live part of music is. 100%. It's not just like, oh, I want to hear these songs because you can do that shit at home. But when you're at a show, like that's what you want. There's an entertainment factor where
you would be so surprised of how many bands phone it in.
Oh, they just walk up there and just
so boring.
I don't like.
It's so boring.
Makes me sad.
It sucks, especially like I've had the experiences where like these are bands that I love, like music wise, and I'll go and I'm like, why? Like now I'm like, oh, now I'm like looking at them differently or this and that. I'm like, oh, do you not like? And it goes back to like you should be enjoying what you're writing, and I feel like. Some of those bands might be the case of like, oh, we're writing stuff that I don't like anymore.
That may be true,
and you know maybe, but
like with booking bands, I've ran across, I'd say 9 times out of 10, none of them put on like a show. And I'm not saying go out and do like, you know, we put a lot of money into our production and all that stuff. And I'm not saying go out and buy $10,000 worth of lights or anything, but like they play how they record. I don't know how else to put it. Like,
it's like they're in front of a computer.
Yeah, don't go all chariot. Like I'm not saying you don't have to do that because I don't do that. We don't do that. He wants to. I don't like that. I don't want to do that. My back can't handle that. So,
that's fair. I feel
but I've noticed just with like 9 times out of 10, these bands just kind of go up there. Thanks for coming. Kind of play and they scurry off. There's no more attitude. There's no more. I'm not saying have an ego, but like. Go on stage and have an ego, but when you get off stage, be normal.
Be personable,
Yeah.
There's this, it's probably one of the biggest reasons why this year, and I've talked about it a little bit, I've gotten really into, like, the hardcore scene. And, like, those, like, kids, I say kids, but every show that I've been to, like I have yet to see one band half-ass like
Yeah.
their set, and I'm like, that's really fucking cool.
fun.
Like that, and I was like, you're just having fun up there, and it reflects, and the crowds go equally as crazy because they feel that same energy. I'm like, yes, it fucking feeds off, like it goes back and forth, but especially when you look at like if you're going out to the show, like you took time to go do something, and if you see like the band that you like not want to look like don't want to be there, I'm like, oh, like fuck, like this is.
We've played shows for goats in junkyards, and we still ripped that shit.
Very true.
Goats
Oh yeah,
in a junkyard.
We were in a junkyard / quinceañera event out in San Antonio.
And it was an auto. They worked on cars there too.
Yeah.
Quinceañera.
Full junkyard, engine blocks everywhere.
How did-
Just
what-
like
the farm
farm
happened.
animals walking around.
It was
and
on
shit.
the outskirts of San
Antonio,
right? Yeah.
We were all blitzed off of
was
shrooms
a
from the
festival.
previous night.
Yeah.
All sick as shit.
about that.
Stayed in the van for like 11 hours because they had us get there early,
Oh, no.
and we didn't play till late.
It was 107 outside.
So
So
we just-
2 summers ago.
2 summers ago.
Yeah.
And we just sat there all day, miserable.
That sounds fucking awful.
We were
'cause
up till 4 a.m. the night before in my
Thanks to
pool.
you.
Let's go. We all went through the mushrooms, and we just stayed up till 4 a.m. Then we had to drive 6 hours. And
We
then-
laughed at a gif of a bunny with a Nicolas Cage face shooting carrots out of his mouth for no less than 2 hours straight.
I sent the band chat, and then they're all upstairs, and I'm in my bedroom, and I'm laying in bed, and I sent that gif, and I just hear all of them erupt and laughter.
Full blown crying fit.
Yeah, it was bad.
I'm on the floor just weeping. Jameson's on the couch next to me. He's crying too. Ethan comes upstairs and is crying. Taylor was the only one that was asleep. It was a nightmare.
Fucking y'all played after Shroom Tree. Every time I've tried it, like the day after is just like the most
what we
fucking
did. It was
exhausting. of
awful.
all
It was
time. It
terrible.
sounds.
My back was out. I could barely stand up that day.
Oh,
So-
They went to McDonald's and like I followed them in and I had to turn around. That smell was just overwhelming instantly. Couldn't do it. Could not do it. So yeah,
Well,
that's
I mean, y'all play a lot of like, definitely like a wide range of shows.
we play weird shit.
Yeah.
I mean, y'all just did the desert show, right?
TikTok
Sean
festival
Gatz.
with Sean
Yeah,
Gatz.
I like have been seeing a lot of like him and what he's like building out there, but I don't know who Sean Gatz is.
I've
Is
just,
he just
kinda,
like
I followed him on TikTok forever ago, and then like he went through all that crazy shit, and then developed like really big name out of it.
Mm-hmm.
Like I didn't know anything about him. He just said he was going to put on a festival, and then I commented like on the video, and then we ended up getting like emails and then exchanging numbers and all sorts of stuff. And he was like, "All right, you're going to headline the festival." We're like, "Okay." And so we just kind of made a weekend out of it, like we always do. So we played Red River the night before.
Yep.
And that's in New Mexico. And so we went like just north, and then went another 10 hours to, I think he's like right outside of Tucson.
Something like that.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was
right
outside
of
Tucson.
So we went from Texas summer to New Mexico, where it's 50 degrees.
It was
and
nice.
then we left there and went to the desert. It's dry heat.
It was like 114 though. God damn, brother.
So what is that
rough.
like? Do you see that difference? Is that an actual like dry heat
I
difference?
actually do think there's a difference, but it was
just
so
hot.
hot.
Is it
It's
just
still
like
so,
hot?
It is so
It's just
fucking
hot, like-
hot.
Well, like after a while there, I got used to it. Like I was kind of sitting outside under the awning, and after I had food in my stomach, I was kind of like, you know what? I can kind of deal with this. But I'm a reptile anyway. I like hot weather, so that's just kind of.
We did play at the end of our set. You can see, like in some of the videos, there were 3 rainbows that came out of nowhere during our set.
Full monsoon.
And then a full-blown monsoon came over us and started raining on everybody at the end of the, like, on our last song.
Yeah.
He makes us skip to the last song, and then as soon as it ends, it just downpours.
I mean, in the video y'all just released, like you can see the fucking like storm brewing.
It
I'm
gets
just
bad.
like,
It
I was
was
like, wait, did they get
wild.
fucking rained on? Because that
Out
shit
of
looks fucking
nowhere.
gnarly.
We got lucky. Our laptop actually skipped a song because it was so fucking hot. I don't know how that happened, but it
Oh, yeah, we had, like,
bounced it.
frozen water bottles underneath it to try to make it run.
Yeah.
So yeah, it skipped a song, and then I noticed that the rain was starting to come in, and I was like, oh, fuck, we can't. We got to cut a song. So I ran back and I skipped it. We went right to Void. And yeah, just straight up let them have the end of it. And as soon as we finished, straight up the bottom fell out. We took all the gear and shoved it under these fucking awnings and whatnot and hope for the best, basically.
I'm trying to back the van in with all these fucking hippies trying to dip out and stuff. And like trying not to hit anybody, and Dalley's back there trying to guide me, and it's just raining and I can't see anything. And we're in the back of the trailer, and the trailer just tips over because it's not attached yet. So we're trying to load all this shit up. So it was hectic there for a second, and then like it came and went.
That's Arizona rain.
Well, that's what actually like because like I started seeing a bunch of like that dude's videos. Like that's what like I've heard him say that a few times. Like no, it'll come and hit hard, but then it's gone in 10 minutes.
Dude, trying to get out there, it's a dirt road.
Nothing.
It's literally in the middle of the desert
with the fucking trailer. And
all they do is clear cacti off of the path. That's
it was rough.
Brutal.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Like we're just doing this shit.
We didn't even set up a merch booth or anything.
Nothing.
We just like we went out there. We set up our little shade, and then I just lived in the van for like 12 hours.
Someone stole the shade.
Oh yeah, someone did steal our
someone
shade.
stole the shade.
They just straight up
the
pop-up shade. Yeah.
What the fuck?
They just threw it on a buggy and bailed out.
Oh fuck.
I literally bought it for that trip, and it got stolen the day we used it.
Well, there you go. You bought it for that trip.
That's it. It served a purpose.
Single use.
You set it up.
Single use awning.
Oh my god.
God damn it.
But I mean, I don't know. The experiences seem like really fucking crazy. And
It's very
fun
cool.
with it. Yeah.
It was very cool.
Oh yeah. I'm still picking spines from cacti out of my Crocs.
Your Crocs.
Yes, I'll step and I'll feel one on my foot. Can't have to go fucking pop it out with tweezers. What were you gonna say, Jameson?
They're skipping a really funny story because at Red River, the elevation made all the difference.
Oh yeah.
And I don't remember exactly how high up we were, but it was enough to where like when you're at rest,
9,500.
you felt a slight difference. You're like, oh, I sort of feel the altitude. But then when you get out and start moving things, everybody was like,
It's almost 10,000 feet. It's almost twice as Denver.
Yeah, we got gassed quick.
Yeah.
we were talking about just taking small things like out of the trailer and stuff, and everyone's just gassed. And then immediately you start to notice that's like a permanent thing. So then we're trying to get changed, and everyone's like, bro, are you having such a hard time putting your shirt on?
Me and Jameson walked across the street and got oxygen tank air things for like $80.
What the fuck?
We bought like 4 of them.
Yeah.
So they were pretty helpful. I was just hitting in the middle of the set. So
The weirdest situation was as soon as we finished the set, everyone was just completely drenched in sweat and just like out of breath. And me and Ethan were like, "What's wrong, guys? What's wrong?"
Yeah, they were making fun of us for buying them. We're like, we feel great.
I was
Well, see, like down here, like, cause I've seen them, like, where you can buy them at like the store and stuff, like the oxygen, like the small oxygen little tanks. And I guess down here, it's like, oh, it's dumb, but up there,
It did it.
it's got some
Totally
That
made the
helped.
difference.
because I remember the only time I experienced that was when I went to Colorado. But you're saying it's higher than Colorado, right?
It's almost twice the elevation of Denver.
See, that's nuts. Because I remember we went and I was like, I completely forgot about it. And they're like, oh, we were in Colorado Springs, so Garden of the Gods is there.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, like I like going on hikes and stuff. I can do them down here. Bro, I was dying hard, and I'm just like, this shouldn't be this hard, like at all.
I even lived there for like 2 or 3 years, and I still can't handle it. I
gotta be
was a
born into that
teenager.
shit.
Yeah, I was a teenager, but it went away pretty damn quick. So
Being born in it.
Yeah, I just can't like. I remember playing Colorado, and we were fine. That wasn't really that bad. I even went on a hike with Andy before the show. Actually, we walked that big long trail.
find the ducks.
Yeah.
or the frog, whatever you
Prairie dogs.
Yeah,
That's what prairie dogs. And then,
fuck
we
a
get
prairie
to
dog.
try to fuck a prairie dog, bro. But we get to Red River, and it's just like even driving there was.
Oh, even the van was having a difficult time getting up the final because you have to literally go through a valley. Like Red River, I grew up there. It's one of my favorite. It's itty bitty. It's a main strip town.
Mm-hmm.
That's all it is. It's this little bitty mountain town. That's just a ski resort in the winter, and they just live off of tourism. That's it.
Yep.
And so you go over this final valley after the Eagle's Nest.
Yeah.
And you have to climb up this fucking mountain. And the van's like at just redlining, just with the trailer on it.
Yeah.
It's just barely getting up because it's already at the high altitude. It's not made for that, and we were loaded down with the trailer with everything in it.
Plus bodies in the van.
Yep.
Like 7
There's
people in that bitch.
Yeah, 6, 7 of us.
Yeah, I remember when we went. We got to Colorado at night, so we were driving through those like mountains, and I couldn't tell where I was going. I just know like the car is having a hard time right here.
Yes.
And then in the morning, when we finally came back, we came back in the daytime through the same way, and we're like, holy fuck, this is what we were going over. Yeah. But shit, yeah, that's the only thing I realized. I never like did any touring or anything like that, but having to have shit like just happen like on the fly, like stuff break down, or like I don't know, like even like getting, I mean the awning stuff is stolen, but like equipment and shit like that gets stolen from like bands and stuff like that. I don't know, it's just like the terrifying part.
Yes.
We're usually pretty on top of like our gear. I don't want to like say it to like do any bad juju or anything, but we've never had any. Have we ever had anything stolen?
The fire.
That's right.
Bro, what the fuck? Y'all had that for like
One show,
and it was fucking awesome.
Single use pyro.
Let's use pyro.
So-
Okay, let's be real
yeah,
though.
so-
Okay, so I think it was just a combination of like bad decisions. I think this was like right before COVID hit, if I'm not mistaken.
Something like
but
that.
we played
our
the fire
headliner
show.
trail, yeah.
We went to California, and those two things were not almost back to back, but they were very close together. And I think one
Didn't
of
we
the decisions
leave it
was
there? We left it
Yeah,
at the
that was one
thing,
of the
yeah.
decisions. Like, hey, let's just leave our gear here for a second.
because we had
and-
the little bitty Texas trailer. Right?
yeah, it wasn't.
That's right.
We
That's
had
right.
nowhere near the space that we used to, or that we have now. So we made that decision, and then I think a little while turned into like 2 months. Yeah. And I remember checking in with Plum, being like, "Hey, is our stuff still there?" He's like, "Oh yeah, it's in the back. No big deal." So like, I felt a little bit of kind of assurement from that. But whenever we went to go pick it up, like most of our stuff was there, but that one case was gone. And we looked everywhere. We looked under the stage, in the storage room, upstairs, and it was gone.
We had suspicions of who took it, but we never really got a definitive.
Let's go call him out right now.
Hey, yo, bitch.
But
No, you got my shit.
We've seen enough horror stories from like brother bands and higher up bands that we've seen have those incidents pop up where people's trailers get broken into or stuff like that. So we went ahead and bought some contingencies to really help us out with the big stuff. But we're also kind of on point, especially with the loading in and out, where I'm usually really good about doing dummy checks and trying to make sure that we don't leave a single thing.
Yeah,
And there's usually always one of us in the van, pretty much at all times.
Yeah, almost always.
Yeah.
which it sucks, but I mean that's got to be the smartest, especially like if you're out somewhere that's not home base. You know what I mean? So you can't easily like get stuff replaced or fixed. And I remember when it was first starting to come into perspective for me was I forgot what, I think it was a band called Artifacts Perio, and they got their shit. Yeah, they got their shit stolen, and they were like gone. And it's when the first time I realized like, oh yeah, like this shit ends like a livelihood like immediately, because that's what you're doing, and all this stuff is super expensive. Because I mean, they were running all like those giant pedal boards and shit like that. I'm like, I didn't really look until someone put a list of like everything that was missing, and I was just looking at price. And I'm like, oh, this took a while.
Career
to
ending.
Could you imagine if our brain rig just got taken?
just gone.
I
I'd
mean,
be done.
not a single person can lift it by themselves and take it. It would take like 3 people to like take it, but we would be absolutely screwed.
Yeah, it's insane for like someone's just trying to turn a quick buck or like something stupid. Like I don't know, like the perspective in that really changed me, where I was like, oh, okay, that's literally like career ending stuff, and it's super spooky. But I mean,
We would have to take off quite a bit of time to, I don't know.
We could rig something up.
Oh, hey, you have your Kemper.
I've got my Kemper. We could do some plug-in stuff, although I don't want to rely on that. But we could make it work. Thankfully, all of us kind of have hordes of gear that we've just been amassing over the years that stays pretty well studio kept. So in the event that shit hits the fan, we can make it work. It would suck, but we could make it happen.
yeah. Do y'all run everything? Like, what's your stage like?
All
setup?
digital.
All digital.
Ask him.
Okay.
So the way we've seen a few things and experienced a few things over the few years, and I would say the biggest thing that I'm personally, I probably speak for Ethan too. We watched Left to Suffer just suffer on stage trying to figure out what was going wrong with their situation. I can't remember the name of the show, but
So
I knew it was
it
with
was-
UABB,
it
if
was-
I'm not
what was
mistaken.
happening?
It was it was just UAB.
It was just a
Yeah.
UABB show. So
Where
Upon
they-
Burning Bodies playing, Left to Suffer was supposed to play before them, and it was a big deal. Everybody wanted to see Left to Suffer. Yeah, no.
Christmas show.
Yeah, some kind of Christmas show or some shit. So they get up there, and their whole show at that time, I don't know if it's the same now, probably is, but their whole show is run on guitar plugins on a computer, whole thing. So they get up there with a brand new interface that they had used the night before, and it worked. Their USB port on the interface shit the bed. I ran up there, and I was trying to help him as best I could. I was like, hey, what kind of cable do you need? Type C, Type C. All right, cool. I ran out, got one, switched it out. Didn't work. Manager comes over, plugs it into his computer. Doesn't work. Interface dead on site. They cannot play because of that.
All the secondhand anxiety.
Yeah.
I was like, hey,
I was
can y'all
just
use our
watching.
brain? Can y'all maybe just play your set through that and your drummer can stay on clicks? They were like, well, no, we have a ton of automation to where stuff happens automatically, so we can't do that. And I was like, nope,
It was so scary. To
don't
see
like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, anyway.
So
what James
with
was saying.
experiences like that, and then how much we play and how far we tend to go, I kind of constructed our rig to be as plug in play as possible, but with as many redundancies kind of built in to minimize situations like that as possible. So everything that we end up giving to the front of house is raw. It's not processed. It's going straight from the source. So our vocals go into a splitter first, and then into the what do you call that? The X32.
Yeah, the
guitars go
interface,
into the
yes.
splitter first, and then into the X32. That way, if the X32 dies, the feeds are still going. Everybody's still getting what they're supposed to get. It's just now our in-ears are dead or something like
gotcha.
that.
Which is fine. We can live with that. We can make it through. But yeah, absolutely what he said, having that split to front of house so that way we can just keep trucking.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that was when I never ran anything as complicated. That the most thing we ever ran was like
I don't know
lights.
anything about any of that. I just show up, look bitching, and play the show. That's it.
Yeah, the most we ever ran was like when we finally started playing to backtracks and had lights, and that was the most.
Yeah.
But we ran so many shows where like one or the other thing would, and I'm just terrible in a panic. DJ's just like trying to figure stuff out, and he's like, I figured out, I'm like, oh, I just need to not talk to him, and I just need to let him do his thing. The only thing I would
just yell at him.
I would have a few
Always.
I would have a time limit where I'm like, if you didn't figure it out by this time, the only thing I'm gonna say is like, fuck it, we figure it out and play it like,
Yep.
raw or whatever. Just figure, yeah.
That's right. Almost every show. Well, almost every single show, if we're playing a national show or whatever it is, and we'll say we're like the second or third band or something, without fail, every single opening band either goes over on their time and just completely disregards their set time. We are always the band that gets cut.
I don't know how that happens.
It is.
It is always
9 times out of
us.
10. It is always us. We always get cut. So we'll be setting up, and something might not be going as fast as I should think it should go.
Yeah.
And Jameson's just sitting there sweating, doing a million things, and I'm just like, "Come on, do it! You don't want to fake it. Just run it. Just go. We just gotta go." He's like, "We haven't even sound checked our guitars." I was like, "I don't care. Just go."
That was me yelling at DJ all the time. Like, just fucking go. Like, he's like, why? He's like, we still need this to run, to play. I'm like, fuck it. No.
I say, "Fine, I don't know about any of that. Just go."
That's the thing. I realized that I was like, I need to shut up because I do not know,
I don't know any
anything
of
that
it.
he's doing.
I'm bad about it too, but I do know what's going on.
Yeah.
So we had the problem with our wireless microphone. Immediately, since I knew I couldn't resolve that, I was like, fuck it, we're going hardwired. Instantly switched it, sounded better, ran the show, it was fine. That was for our fucking EP headliner. So,
Yeah.
I had the knowledge to fix it, so I just go, fuck it, I'm just going to change it, doesn't matter, switch it, and then we're good. But it sucks when small shit like that happens, but like he said, we have abilities to get around it 9 times out of 10.
Don't you have a setup where we have the most elaborate setup, and then we have like an A, B, C, D rig where it's like
Essentially,
if we just have
yeah.
to throw and go. We give them 2, 3 inputs, and we can
Correct.
just go.
yeah.
But if we're doing a headliner and we can give them all 16
yeah.
inputs, then everything can have its own channel. Everything can be super elaborate. But in those cases that we're just fucking go, we just give them 2 inputs and just send it.
Yeah.
I think when you're performing shows at that level with that level of intricacies, I think having those sort of plans is super essential, and also like will definitely like come in handy the day that even like if it's the one time that you ever use like the contingency
We've had
plan.
to do it a million times already.
Oh, yeah.
We run into issues constantly with venue power or venue sound guys just not knowing what they're doing, and we play.
Boy, howdy, we
go
don't
out of
get a
town.
fucking sound check.
Jesus Christ.
But I was gonna say, I don't know if you know the answer to it or not. But
do not.
if for instance, when you guys were playing and y'all were using an interface, I noticed a lot of our issues seemed to stop as soon as we went from like a normal recording interface to the X32. Something about what the X32 doesn't require as much finesse.
Well, it's
as some of these.
It's a live mixer. That's an interface. That's a live mixer. So that
Okay,
makes
yeah,
sense
it
that it
does.
would be more applicable. You could technically run that X32 at your front of house and just use an iPad.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's what it's for.
And as soon as we made that switch, it cleared up a lot of issues.
Yeah.
And then I was talking to a few of like, Steven, for instance, and he was like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, you should get the S16 so you can do all the inputs in front. The problem was we were still encountering situations where we would hand the sound guys, even if it was the 5 tracks, right? Be like, oh, I'm not getting any of that. And I've already checked the inputs. Everything's going on my end. It shows you're getting it, but they're like, nope, I don't hear anything. I don't see anything.
Fuck you rack mount.
Yeah.
It shows if we're sending them signal, correct?
Yeah, it
Is
shows
that right?
an output monitor.
Yep.
So if you
So
hit
it
a
shows-
kick or
yeah.
something, it'll show it happening through the output of it.
So that way, it's
So-
literally only there for the sound guy to be like, I'm not getting anything. He can go,
it's
yeah,
fucking-
you
yeah,
are.
yeah,
send it in there.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah. And I'll point directly out, like, yes, you are. I'm looking at it right here.
Holy shit.
And if they don't believe me, it's like, all right, you come over here, you can plug it into yourself. I don't care, but you're getting it.
Yeah.
And at that point, for some reason, all the issues seem to go away.
Most of the time. Yeah.
As
soon as we had
here it is. I found it.
Oh, I got it. I had the channel muted. No shit.
Yeah, I mean, I have ran into like the situation where like depending on where you're playing, like some sound guys won't put in the most effort
Oh, dude,
depending
boy,
on what,
howdy.
like who's
If we play
playing.
out
Or
of
this
town,
and that.
we're playing a dive bar. We're playing with people that probably don't give a shit that we're there.
Yeah.
And somebody's bro dude cousin has a 4-channel Mackie mixer and a random PA, and he's like, "Yeah, that'll work for live sound." Like, sure it will, Cletus. Sure. Fuck. Every time.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta work with what you get, I guess.
Oh,
I
shit.
mean, but y'all aiming to play some bigger shows. I saw the campaign for Nickelback.
We tried.
It's
God, we tried.
It's gonna keep.
We did.
I
was
really
there.
thought- I was so like.
I was there front
Pump.
row with a sign that said, "Let me sing animals," and they still didn't do it. I tried. Goddamn, I tried.
He was even on their screen for
the
a minute.
jumbotron.
Oh really?
Yeah, his sign. I even made one that was like, "Let me play it," and I fucking forgot it at home. But he brought his, and they even showed it on the big ass screen.
And I
behind him.
know
was like,
Chad saw me because that eye roll could have powered a small town. I know it. I know he looked because he was like, just instant like, oh my fucking god, this guy. Why? But yeah, we tried.
Because he got that haircut, dude. I haven't trusted him since he
Say
didn't
that.
have the long
Since
hair.
he got the long
He got
hair.
that long hair, yeah.
He thought he was like an 8-year-old because he was so short in the crowd. Holding it up. He was like,
He saw the mustache. He was like, oh, hold on.
I already did my Make-A-Wish foundation.
Make-A-Wish quota was met already.
Bald 8-year-old with a mustache. Yeah, that worked.
Holy shit, that makes sense. That tracks.
Not another one with cancer.
God.
Get these Make-A-Wish kids out of the crowd. God.
the cancer gave him a mustache.
Yo, my hair moved from everywhere else. Ew. But yeah, we tried. That would have
Dally.
been insane. Yeah, fuck Dally. That would have been insane.
Love you, AJ.
Yeah, we got as far as I got the email for like apparently Nickelback, Cher, and Pink all use the same accountant. It's one dude, and I hit him up and I was like, "Listen, dog, this is gonna be weird, but," and it just he sent it and nobody said anything. So when you've gone that far down the rabbit hole of getting people's like financial advisors involved, like at that point you're starting to push a button where it's like, all right, we're going a bit too far, and it
I
just
mean, we
stopped
have
there.
hundreds of people tagging them all over TikTok and Instagram and Facebook.
So they saw it. you
Oh,
know
for
what I mean?
sure, they had to.
Well, I don't think any of them have like personal socials or anything. but
Ryan does.
I haven't.
But they're probably like to the point where like someone's running their social media.
probably.
And
100%.
you would think that person's like, oh, this is another way to just keep blowing stuff up. Even if it's like just coming on stage and like singing, because a lot of people like do that.
Yep.
And those fucking things.
No,
draw so
I
much
was
sense.
just expecting the whole like we just got enough traction online for them to be like, okay, it's undeniable now. We have to let them.
If we'd have hit the thousands of reactions
Yeah,
and stuff like
maybe.
that, and the thousands of shares, yeah, I think something would have happened. Because they made a lot of accommodations on that tour.
We
Like
even had like the touring bands. They were like, "Fuck, let them do it." And
Yeah.
it was
Oh,
like
really?
Fire from the Gods was on there.
Yeah.
There was a few others that were like, "Let them fucking do it."
And Nickelback, they did like a big hoo-da-da in Nashville where they had like Hardy come up
I
and all kinds of
know,
other shit.
yeah.
Granted, those are big artists that
Yeah.
they're bringing on, but like they made accommodations. Is my point.
Yeah.
So like we could have.
Like they still fucked with the show. Like
Yeah, it didn't break anything. It didn't hurt anything. They could have brought at least my ass out there to do something. I can fucking all that shit. It's easy.
Yeah.
And they could have brought him out to play Flying V or something. It would have been fucking sick. But it is what it is.
Something else. Something's coming.
Some dreams
Something-
yeah.
I tried to
Don't
think
make it
about it
good.
from their point of view, and I was like, well, you know what? It could be setting a
wouldn't have done
bad
it
precedent in terms of like, all right, so we're gonna let this band kind of come up here after this little
Bullied their way on
campaign.
stage.
What if every town we play, there's a band that's gonna be up our butts
That
about
is
trying to jump on? And I was
exactly
like,
how I thought
okay,
Stop
I'm trying to be
thinking
logical.
logically.
I'm trying.
Yeah, don't be reasonable. Gosh.
Fueled on dreams.
I want what I want.
And I want it
I
now.
don't care about anybody else.
They missed out because y'all put on a show. Especially you. I don't know how.
I was gonna backflip into the crowd. I swear to God.
I was just like, dude, I forgot what I had. I couldn't make it to the EP release show, but I saw you like jumping from the rail club. R.I.P.
So I told them we were practicing there, and I told them I was like, I don't think it's ever been done. I've never seen anyone do it. I've never had anyone talk about it for the years of rail that no one ever jumped off the second story.
Yeah.
And he goes, all right, well, if there's enough people, I'll do it. There wasn't enough people, but he did it.
There's in the video you can hear. I think it was one of AJ's friends that came, one of his work friends. I'm hanging onto the balcony and I'm leaned back, and all you hear is, "No, it's too high. It's too high." And I heard her through my in-ears while I was up there, and I was like, "It is too high. She is
absolutely
right." And I just went, I mean, if I'm gonna die here, I'm gonna die.
I mean, we stopped performing on stage. Like, we were still playing the song or whatever, but we all just kind of went to the middle of the stage and we're just playing and just staring. Like, we're going to watch him die. This is going to be cool.
This will be what blows us up.
Yep. Dude,
Nickelback will finally pay attention.
the longest running joke in Dispo is like, someone needs to die so we can get famous.
I want to make that public. Like, if any of us dies, the band has full permission to abuse that as
Same.
promotional material. Any one of us.
Agreed.
I don't want to die for nothing. Get signed.
Get
signed.
Get something. Make it work. Use
I
it to your
fully
advantage.
agree.
Because like that's
Put my face on everything and just cry every time you talk about me.
There you go.
And then, just use it. Promo.
And practice. Jalen, Ethan just died. How are you going to get famous?
Get that post going.
Let me just type it up real quick and do a couple of TikToks. If Ethan dies, let's see. We're gonna have to, because everybody thinks you write the guitar solos. So like
that
we're
would be
gonna
the
have
most
to
marketable.
probably because you have more like pull within the fact that you've been booking and stuff like that. You're
Just
more
use
known.
the kids.
Oh, your kids.
Kids. My dad wanted this to keep going.
Yeah.
Say that on camera. Dad said,
Hey,
listen
Warner
to this.
Brothers. He specifically wanted this to keep going with Warner Brothers.
With Warner
We
Brothers.
need a Roadrunner Records contract.
Yeah,
now.
Roadrunner.
Oh.
Jesus.
Yeah, we need that to happen.
That'll work. That'll do it.
Yeah, we are shameless. Is that what it is?
I guess it'd be
Shameless.
shameless,
Promotion. We don't give a shit. We'll use anything for promo. We'll do anything with marketing.
That part's for the audience. Like the music is for us.
Yeah.
We write that for us to fulfill our need and all that. But like the marketing and the gags and the funny stuff and the entertainment live.
I find
that's
it's
for the
like truly
audience.
just fun. Like with
Yeah.
us, just what is that? Guerrilla marketing, right? Is that
Yeah,
what it is?
I guess you
Just
call it that.
Anything and everything. Like,
Yeah.
we can make it. We can market it somehow.
Yeah.
And we'll use it for some sort of promo.
You kind of like, you don't have to do anything, but it's like you just said, it's a fun way to do it. You know what I mean? It's this the way to have, like, I guess whatever you write your music as, if you're like, oh, this is serious, I tackle this in this certain way, that's your artist and musician way. But marketing and social media and all that stuff you use to promote, like, that's a whole other different thing. And you can have a different, like, personality in that. It's like, oh, this is just fun, so we can do, like, kind of whatever. Like, that's why, like, the series of videos when y'all were doing the Nickelback thing, I thought were so fucking cool. I'm like, that's fucking badass. Even the video for the cover that y'all, like, put out, I really like love that. And showing just, like, it seems like I could tell, like, some scenes are, like, cinematic, and I'm like, this is Zaylin, I know that for sure. Like, obviously, but and for me, I'm like, oh, I know you, so I, like, that's your personality coming through, like, on the video portion of that stuff. Even the goddamn half empty. I'm like, sorry. That video was fucking fun. Yours suiting that shit is fucking sick. So is your outfit.
This was amazing.
The fucking solo game. I'm like, I love that. I love that song so fucking much. I wouldn't shut up, like, to y'all the whole time. I was like,
I
when's
wish
that coming out?
it could have shown us driving around better.
Yeah,
because you can't really. Like, we are in a van playing and driving around all over North Richland Hills.
Literally,
The entire
Jameson's shots are in a Winco parking lot.
Yeah.
Oh, really? You're on top of it?
Behind a McDonald's.
I'm just sitting there letting the van kind of ghost ride, and he's just doing his thing up there, and people are driving by like, what in the fuck? Like that. Yeah. All in public.
I think that brings up a good point about us, and it's something that I've always kept in the back of my mind, is I feel like we're a group of doers. And the best example I try to go back to is often the fire
Except
thing.
Dally.
Because I just remember seeing a video of, like, Rammstein when they were doing, like, their this was many years ago, but I know they've always had a really big show, but this was whenever it was, like, all over Facebook, and I was like, oh man, this is huge. I wish we had fire. And we were all talking about it for just a second, and then it disappeared in the chat, right? And I just started looking it up, like, all right, let me see some DMX-controlled fire and stuff. And then within a week, I was like, hey, guys, sent a video, and we had fire all of a sudden. And, you know, that's the standing on top of the van doing the solo. That wasn't planned. It was, wouldn't it be funny if that happened? And I was like, let's do it. You know, and that's kind of how we all operate. You know, hey, I talked to Sean, in the middle of the desert. Let's do it. You know, and just make it happen.
I love the impulse. We act a lot off impulse.
Yep. Well, obviously you need a balance, but I run into, like, it used to run into a lot more where I would, like, have those ideas and ideas like that, but once I would say it and I would tell somebody, they'd be like, that's cool. I'm like, that's enough for me. And then, like, I wouldn't do the idea. You know what I mean? Like, I don't need to do it. Like, but literally, and I bring this up a lot, like, I mean, Ethan, you were part of, like, the first 6 episodes I ever did of the podcast, and that was me with DJ talking to him, like, he's like, oh, how are we going to promote Chill Sounds? And I'm like, I'll do a podcast. It's fine. Like, I was like, I'll tell him the whole plan, and he's like, cool, do it. It's like, all right. And then, like, I had 6 weeks to do it, so I'm like, yeah, an episode a week, I can do that shit. And then, like, 2 weeks before, I hadn't done shit, and I'm like, fuck, I had already said yes, and he was like, yeah, it's a cool idea, so I had, like, got my gratification, so I'm like, I guess I don't need to do it, but then I'm like, I do need to do it.
I'm guilty of that too, because I'll end up sending them shit. I'm like, I want to do this. And they're like, okay. And I'm like, fuck, now I either have to do it or I'll just let it die.
I hate we get annoyed because I'm like, they're like, well, do it. And I'm like, fuck.
I know.
Like,
That's how
I came up with the idea.
That's the work. You're supposed to do it now.
That's how the entire band works, though. It's like, we'll end up saying something, and it's like, more than half the time, we just end up kind of doing it.
Somebody will usually take initiative to make it a reality. Like, I'm kind of the naysayer where I'll be like, okay, you want to do that? Here's what all it's going to cost. Here's an itemized list of all this shit we're going to have to go through to get it done. And that's kind of a downer, if we're being real. But Jameson is on the other end of that spectrum where he's like, okay, I'm already figuring stuff out.
Autism spectrum.
Me and Jameson occupy both ends of the autism spectrum. So, like, he'll kind of go out of his way to make something happen. So there's both sides of that where I'll be like, okay, here's what it's really going to cost us, and Jameson's like, I'm 6 layers deep in it. So
I already do. I'll literally call into work a few days just to get whatever it is done.
Not kidding. He will.
I'm like in the middle. So, like, if whatever it ends up leaning towards, of like that does sound like a lot of work, and then Jameson's like, well, I'm already like halfway there. I was like, fuck yeah, let's do it. Okay, cool.
Yeah, I feel like there's a lot of stuff where DJ and I kind of worked like that when we were like working on Chill Sounds initially, where he was like, "Oh, we should do this, we should do," and I was like, "Your position," because he had all these great ideas, and I'm like, "Sure, like these are all awesome, you can do it." Like, but how? You know what I mean? Because it was never getting past that for a second. So that was where we balanced each other out. I was like, okay, how do we figure it out to get stuff done? You know, but. Yeah, on my own, I used to be where I'm like, I would just say like, "Oh, this is a cool idea," and then I would say it and be like, "Yeah, it's cool," and I'm like, "Cool, that's all I need to do, baby." Like, you know,
there has to be a balance to that. You know, from what I found, if we went all impulse, we would be so fucked. There's no other way.
I have hyper fixated on so many things that I just like. I'm gonna do this. I'm podcast, photography.
Yeah,
fucking. I mean, so many different things. Band promotions, T-shirts. I mean. I've done. Yeah,
I've done a few like things. I remember when I was the last time we spoke. I bring the camera story up a lot. Where I was like doing a vlog, and that was one of my impulse things. So I'm like, I've always dabbled in making some sort of like video stuff, and I'm like, but I forced myself first. I'm like, I have a cell phone that has a very great camera on it. It's like if I can't do it with this, it means I don't want to fucking do it.
Nope. I want to spend $1,000. No,
that's my normal.
Nope. I want to buy all the shit for it. That
was the first thing. That was the first thing that I was able to rein myself back on and be like, you fucking do it with this. And if you can do it and you like doing it, then maybe you can invest in a camera. So I think I did like 5 episodes on my phone, and I'm like, all right, I can justify me getting something, you know.
Well, that's a great point. Is like. From what I found, the place people struggle the most is like, okay, do I really want to do it? And then what Ethan said, well, I want to spend $2,000. That's great. You probably should, but what I like to do is I always start with the most baseline gear I can get that will get the job done. Mm-hmm. And like you said, if I can do it with this, cool. The one thing I needed to learn a long time ago that I wish I would have paid attention to, just don't buy the mid-range stuff.
Yeah.
Just you buy the worst shit you can get that does the job, and you go, okay, I like this. Buy the best shit you can afford. Go fucking balls deep, because get the thing that you want, and you will be happier with it every time.
I just start off with the expensive shit, and then it just sits there.
It's because you're an asshole.
Yeah, I had to go. So I remember like when I talked about the camera, I'm like, I was like, oh, what do you use, this and that, and like you remember sending me just like. Yeah, like you're better off like looking it up. And I always talk to him like, yeah, I was mad. I'm like, fuck you, you don't not telling me what I need to know. But I ended up looking up and found a camera that I was like, okay, at the level where I'm like, this is more than what I need, but it's also like I can grow with this like for a while, you know, until I find the need to like get something else. That's why like people like sometimes I'll talk to some people. They're like, oh, what camera are you using? I'm like, oh, I use this one. And I was like, oh, like, why don't you have this? And I'm like, I don't need it. Like,
I'm good.
You know, I'm good. Like, it works. It works. Like, and then, like, I just bought it, like, a second camera. So now, like, they're all mine. And I'm like, yeah, like, I bought the same one because it's been doing a great job and hasn't, like, I don't do anything extra where I would need it. So I could invest in, like, a better camera. Yeah. And I'm like, it's not going to do anything. But, like,
I do that. Yeah.
But I used to do that shit all the time where I'm just like, oh, I like this idea. Let's buy everything for it before I fucking do anything like with
That's
it.
what I do.
Yeah, it's fun because I have the money for it. I'm like, yeah,
but you got that cool new shit. I get it.
Yeah,
I get it.
Yeah, this is awesome.
I use it for a month and then it just sits there.
I'll have to stop. I keep getting like into stuff like, I just started like I changed like my workout routine. So now I'm like, because TikTok influenced me to like all these powerlifters and stuff like that, like do it, and I'm like. Oh, I'm like, wait, what are they wearing? What do they got? Like, oh, I want one of those
I need
belts.
And I'm like, belts and shoes.
Yeah, and I'm like, no. Like,
I am
get the fucking work.
Like, I just saw a Polaris, the band Polaris.
Yeah.
They're on a plane, just a video, and he moves his hand and he has a just neon watch on. I go, what watch was that? Then I just start looking up neon watches. I'm like, what? And I do that with everything.
Oh. The fucking
I
thing.
buy knives and EDC shit and just watches and shoes.
He do be doing
backpacks.
Yeah, I've the thing that sucks is like if you've seen like on TikTok the shift into like the TikTok shop. So now
I just got it. I bought a fucking mechanical screwdriver.
Dude, everything
just the other day.
I think like it's every like third video is an ad, and now it's because people can like make money off of it. So everybody's trying to do. I'm like,
nuts.
Dude, everything is an ad. And yes, I find myself like, ooh. I might, and I'm like,
that
I
would
need to
be
fucking
handy.
get out of this.
I buy it all. I buy it.
I don't need
it kills
any
me.
of that.
Fortunately, I'm immune to that kind of stuff. So that's
I am
that's
not.
nice. I don't know what it is about me, but I'll look at it and be like, I don't give a shit.
They
just
tap
keep moving.
right
Yeah.
into whatever. It scratches this weird little part in my brain when I hit buy and it shows up the next day. I'm like, oh.
So in your defense, my stuff is, oh yeah, I really need that $4,000 mic preamp real bad, and then I just run my credit all the way up, and I'm paying on that forever, and I can't buy anything.
Yeah.
So that's
I just got a new credit card the other day. Too.
Oh god,
Ooh, some new
the
stuff from-
emergency credit card. So
as it always starts out as.
Yep.
it sits on my
Turns
desk
out
and I stare
everything's
at
an
it.
emergency.
It turns out
It's
I need
always
this
an emergency
really
when it's
badly.
TikTok shop.
Yeah. Okay. So y'all have a stockpile of all these fucking songs, and like one thing I forgot to touch on this, but we were talking about your songwriting now, and I think I was speaking probably to Zay when we were talking about, but like the efficiency of like how songwriting goes between like I was talking to you because you were like, oh yeah, I think Zaylin and Jameson do like a lot of like the driving force behind like songs, but I mean just talking about how the song started off with a riff and it's done in a day. Is that you guys think like you've nailed down the dynamic for writing as far as
We
between
do it
y'all?
all differently.
It depends.
Yeah.
Everything is
Jameson
different.
has his way where he has like a bunch of. He wants Zaylin to work on it. Like he'll send him like what 50%, 60% song.
I would say even more than that probably.
Yeah.
They're pretty much like full skeletons done, and he'll send me something and be like, okay, do something. And I'll be like, sometimes it scratches an itch, sometimes it don't. Whereas I usually write like, there's times where I get a full song done. There's other times where I will have like a full blown chorus. Like there's effects going on, guitar layers, synth layers, drums, all that. That's like done. And I'll send it like, hey, is that worth following up on? And Jameson will be like, send me that bitch. And then he'll go in and he'll finish out the rest of the song, and then we'll reproduce it from there. And Ethan will send a riff sometimes, and oh, that brings up a song. Fuck yeah, let's do it. Jameson sent something. He was like, I think y'all are gonna think this sucks, but here you go. And that ended up being Toxin. Like
Really?
that was in, I think, a night it was finished. Like I took it, cut it up, moved it around, built a beat, and then sent it that night, and was like, there you go.
Wasn't Rampage or Yon Shakudama?
That was the first song we worked on together.
First song we all did together, and
Yeah.
then Toxin was second.
Yeah, but then we released Toxin first because
Yeah.
it just felt more
It's
like
still the
pushing to
sleeper.
that new era.
Yeah, that's the sleeper. It's gonna hit one day.
It's gonna hit one day.
It will.
The funny part though is kind of like he was saying, like I consider us both, I call us like composers. We're not just like a riff writer. I can't just send like a riff
Yeah.
and be like,
Oh,
hey,
boy,
this
I
sounds
can.
cool, because I feel like it won't go anywhere.
Yeah.
If that makes any sense. So like if I can't turn this riff into the rest of the song, I don't feel like I can expect them to either.
So if you like, if you can't see a whole song out of like one part, then like
it's
not
really
worth
hard
it.
for me. I'm sure you
Yeah.
can, just like his riffs do that way.
Yeah.
You know, but mine, for some reason, I just feel like, no, it's not strong. I can't, that's not going to work. It needs context. You know, so then I'll build the context from start to finish almost every single time. And even if I would say 40% of the context is trash, at least it serves as context.
Yeah,
That's the first time I've heard like the idea of like writing stuff around something for context. But that makes sense because like you hear the riff and you know maybe what it could be, but if it's not
Surrounded by something.
then they won't be able to tell, and someone can take it completely different and not
Yes.
the idea that you had.
doesn't
So
like
I feel like I
Oh,
understand that.
he hates it when
Don't
that
like
happens.
that.
Jameson, here's the deal. Jameson provides the context, but I don't have the full picture, and he gets mad when I don't paint the full picture.
He almost didn't release For You because they were trying to change what he wanted it to be about.
Yeah.
So he's like, if you're going to change it, we're not releasing it. And
I
so-
try my best not to have that mentality. It's really hard because
But he nailed it on that one.
I don't really write songs just, oh, this is a cool riff. Oh, this cool riff. I don't
what I
like
do.
putting cool riffs together because
Yeah.
it serves no purpose for me.
Yeah.
So like usually when I write something, there is something behind it that drives
Really
it. So
sad.
you know, for you, me and my wife had been separated, and co-parenting was super hard between us because I was having my issues and I was letting that bleed into the relationship of the co-parenting stuff. So that's where a lot of the driving force behind, and I would say 90% of it was written already, kind of the way it was. And when not to get into bad areas, but when Cody kind of was like, yeah, I want to make this about religion or something, I was like, no, I can't. This song was written especially like for my daughter in this situation. I can't hear it in any other context. That's not going to work for me.
Well, I think there's something to be said about that, though. Like, if you do have, and we talked about this at like a band meeting recently, like, if you have a vision, go ahead and you need to follow all the way through with it.
Yeah.
Flesh it all the way out. He was saying, like, maybe you don't want to be that way all the time about a song, but sometimes you got to say, this is what it's about. If you don't like it, we can just pull it off the table. That's fine. That is okay, because you made that song. If it was 100% you, that's totally fair. If you've got all that involvement in it, and it only applies to what you believe it applies to, and nobody else sees it that way, then just back it off. We got other songs. We'll move along.
Yeah,
it's not a big deal.
I mean, I think that was the perfect move for that song, because that song is so fucking strong.
For
and
You is a
emotional.
good song.
It's I definitely do love that song, and I think the subject matter went perfect along with it. I don't know, I now saying like that, I'm like, I don't know how that would have
that song
worked
nailed
with both subject
that song
matters.
nailed everything. Like
it was the first song that wasn't a shit talking song.
Yeah, it was just pure. It was so real. Even when I wasn't in the band when they put that out, and I remember hearing that, and I'm pretty sure I think I was working. What year did that come out? Do you know?
2018, 2019.
I think I should have been working at my tech job then. So when that came out, I'm pretty sure I was sitting in one of my cubicles at work, and I was just like, God damn, that's fuck. Like, other bands weren't putting out stuff that was that real around here.
Yeah.
Well, not everybody, but for the most part, the releases weren't touching that nerve that clearly, and they weren't that concise in their intent. That's the big one. The intent is everything, and his intent was to express that feeling and the situation. I'm sad about my kids, and the video culminated all that. Like, it was perfect.
That's also like when I think I found out that you sang, and it was in I remember I don't think you had sang anything before that.
That was the first song with
and
you.
I remember hearing that, and I'm like, who the fuck is singing? And then seeing it live and seeing you sing it just like that, and I'm just like, fuck. I was like, I literally I think it was DJ who we were at a show with, and I'm like, dude, it sounds exactly like the way it sounds on the record. That shit was awesome for me. Yeah. But I thought it was so awesome. Like, and again, I think I had a moment where I was like, this is a fucking great song. And I love having those moments, especially when it's for me, it's extra special. It's like, oh, I fucking know these people. And they wrote that. Like, it's which I've been having more and more experiences like that where I'm like, fuck, it just puts it into perspective. I'm like, oh, this shit can be done, and well, and it's really awesome to see that with people that I know, and I'm like, this is so fucking cool. You know what I mean?
It's on that tangible level where, like you said, you know those people, you've been with them, you hang out with them, and it's like, damn, you can make cool shit. Like, that's great.
Yeah.
The other thing about that song is it's a really fun, cool fun fact to me is we didn't spend a dime on promotion or any ads, anything for that song.
Really?
That's
the
sick.
music video. I think the only thing that we paid for was just the Dreambound fee or whatever, but they haven't accepted a song since. That was the only song they wanted.
They haven't accepted any?
They took the piano
unplugged version.
Yeah, they took that one too, but that's the only one that they accepted, and so we paid, I think it was like $70 or something like that to just whatever their fees were to do the YouTube stuff.
Yeah.
Other than that, not a single Google ad, Facebook ad, Spotify ad, anything.
A good song will carry itself.
And it did.
Yeah.
It's still pulling, I think, 2,000 plays a week.
Shit.
Because it's on 900 something play. I just looked the other day because I was comparing the EP songs with because that one always it's top dog.
Those are some divorced dad playlists. Let me tell you.
But it's on 900 of them still. So
I mean, what you just said, like a good song will speak for itself, and I've noticed that. And when I sometimes we get into my head about songwriting, or the way it needs to be produced and sound. I would put more weight into that than the actual substance of what I was writing.
Yeah.
And then when I had to really look back and be like, dude, some of my fucking favorite songs sound shitty technically, on that level, but they're amazing songs. So it doesn't matter what you got to use what you have at the moment and get it done, rather than like holding these and never releasing a lot of stuff because I guess this is a balance to everything, but the fact of like releasing music and when it can actually hit, because that was my thing when we released our EP. I thought about that. I'm like, fuck, these songs would have slapped years ago. You know what I mean? Like and then because we were worried about like where we were recording, where we were doing all this stuff, and blah blah blah. It just came out too late. You know what I mean?
That kind of goes back to what I was talking about with equipment. Like you should have shitty stuff to get the songs together, and if you can, don't be like fucking me, where you spend tens of thousands of dollars on mixing equipment and hours spent learning it. Go to somebody that knows what the fuck they're doing, and they'll like somebody who's really in the industry, a good name that you can trust, not your buddy who has a studio in his house because it's same shit, but you're paying for it. Fuck that. Go to somebody that knows what they're doing, and they'll be able to engineer something absolutely incredible for you. And if they are a good producer, they'll be able to help the song become something better. That's something that we kind of need to touch on a little more because we do so much in-house and
everything
in-house.
The producer thing is weird, honestly, for me, and it wasn't because I was so against somebody touching my stuff.
Same.
And I was like, but I realized like, it's gonna take you finding someone you actually trust to be like, hey, because I looked at him like, maybe some of these ideas would have been good if I wasn't so defensive about like this, and maybe it could have been better, but I was so closed off to that where I'm like, if I ever worked with somebody now, like I'm like, I would go to someone that I have heard like what they've produced and done stuff, and actually I guess understanding the actual term as like, what a producer is.
That's what we did before he joined.
We
used to always go to Corey
Brenneman.
We went to him for 6 songs.
I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah.
6 songs, and I would go in there before Jameson joined the first 2 songs that we did. We'd go in there like 50 or 60% done. Because Corey would sit there and write everything with us and like come up with parts and like help us and shape the song, and he would build effects and all sorts of stuff. And then Jameson joined and he didn't like that, so we'd go in like 75% done or 80% done. But he would still sit there and develop just background stuff, little riffy tail ends of stuff to let it go into the other stuff better. And
one-time events.
Yeah. And so now since we do everything in house with Zaylen, we did have this massive band meeting where the way we recorded this EP, it took us
a long time,
over a year,
really,
for 4 songs.
Yeah,
well, it was technically 6 because we were doing all the other songs and stuff like that. But we all agreed that we would never do how we recorded this EP. We'll never do it that way ever again because nothing could ever be done. We would try to get together and try to do everything together to finalize stuff, but things would. Hey, what about this? And things would get lost, and we were all over the place.
Couldn't really implement an idea because things were so done, but then things weren't done enough, so then we needed an idea. It was a weird, right in the middle problem.
Like nothing could ever be done.
Yeah,
because you always had access to it.
Yeah, that's a big.
Gotcha.
So I would always say,
so it's all you can always look at it. Yeah.
So going to Corey, we were out of town. We were there to work.
Yeah,
we had a solid 3 days, most times 3 days. We're there for 3 days. That's what you're there to do. That's the only thing you're going to do. And then you're going to go home. You can't touch it anymore.
Yep.
With doing it in-house, you can touch it whenever you want to. So
don't touch yourself.
Don't touch yourself.
Don't touch. No.
Fuck you, Dally.
Fuck Dally. Hands off your wiener, though.
I think there's something about finalizing an idea and letting it go. And again, you could infinitely like pick at it and be like, this could be better.
Recording it at a house and in a room that you're usually recording demos in or whatever it is. Then it never really felt like official for me. So it always felt like something was lacking. Only because I'm aesthetic. Like if I go to a studio, then I'm there to do the studio.
Be in the vibe.
And then I'm like, we're in the finalizing shit.
Yeah.
But whenever we would all get together, we would write and all that other stuff, it'd always feel like it wasn't quite done yet.
Yeah. Like we're still in the same spot we wrote it. You know, it's a possibility to keep writing too.
But I think with that experience where we've been able to hammer out songs all the way to the finish line together, we now have a better understanding of like, okay, this song is like as good as we can get it. So if we do take it somewhere, we're going to have a lot better time getting it finalized. It's not going to be a guessing game of like, oh, what do we come up with? Unless we want it to be that.
Yeah.
And if we do, well then cool. We'll find somebody that can accommodate
I
that.
always liked the third party perspective.
We need it,
of,
in my
like,
opinion.
I mean, when you're working on your own stuff, you're so close to it that
Yes.
it's hard to pull back and see as like a full picture or even just like an outside because you know what could be better instead of like hearing like
Oh,
from
we would
brand
have
new ears and
knockdown
stuff like that.
dragouts over kick hits. Like, leave them in. No, take them out. There's 3 kick hits and a silence. And it's death rattle at the end where yeah. So I was like, nope, take him out. And he was like, leave him in. And then we were asking Jeff, our old drummer, and he was the final vote. And he's like, yeah, take him out. Wait a minute. Leave him in. I was like, fuck you, Jeff.
I cannot describe to you how quickly
And that's why
pissed
he's out.
Ethan off.
I'm gonna leave. I was like, fuck this.
I think Ethan
That's why he
damn
got
near
kicked out.
threw my computer through the window when that happened. Like I could just feel the rage in the room. It was but granted, still the things got done.
Yeah.
Whether or not it was pretty, it wasn't. They got done. And going forward with that information, we've kind of decided like, okay, from now on, if we're releasing something, it's going to be something manageable, like a single where we
Yeah.
can agree that something can get done. If we want to take that to someone, we can do that. Not a problem. And even then, we haven't really discussed like whether or not that person's going to just provide stems for me to mix for us to keep the budget under control, or if we're going to have them mix it. We don't know about that yet, but we'll get there.
Yeah.
You know,
We have a whole nother release we're gearing up for right now anyway, so.
so yeah,
What?
November, baby.
November?
Isn't that soon?
Yeah, I thought so.
We're talking about it's like it's not a secret anymore.
Yeah, as far as I'm aware, November, we probably need to start shopping YouTube channels. For that.
Yeah, Jesus. Yeah, I got to get to work then.
It's already September, guys.
I was gonna say, I was like,
Yeah, we had, so like he was saying, with the South of Saints EP, we had 6 songs in the barrel, and 2 of them, we felt one of them was really a cut above the rest, and we felt another could be supplemental. So he didn't, but everybody else did. So we kind of shook it out to where, okay, we didn't have Fire Woman in the pocket at first, the cover we just did.
The
But
cover, yeah.
I finished that one.
turned out fucking awesome. I love it.
I finished that one, and they're like, okay, well, I guess now we have this stuff that we can kind of continue the year with. So we're going to sort of just put that out as a single, if you will. And that's sort of how we're going to approach the coming releases, is like one bit
Go
at
back
a
to
time.
what we used to do. We
single.
used to just do like, so whenever we'd go record with Corey, we would record 2 songs in 3 days and then get them back whenever we'd get them back, and then release one as a single with a music video. Then about 6 months-ish later, do the exact same thing. But that way, we found like the growing and the marketing and the production aspect of everything, it just kind of made sense of pushing one massive release. And it kind of, you'd get, sometimes 2 or 3 songs a year out of it. We could probably do it more, but it was like we put all of our eggs in that music video, all of our eggs in that song. All focus was promoting that single thing to really amp it up as much as we possibly could.
Yeah.
And albums at our level just kind of
doesn't
don't
make
make
sense.
sense. It's financially it's a
It's-
pitfall.
Yeah.
It-
Bigger
it's-
bands? Sure.
Yeah.
If you do it
They
at
would tour
level,
on
it's
for 2
literally it's
years.
more for yourself. Like it's
Yeah.
more because you
100%.
want to create a project.
Yeah.
But yeah, it sucks because it's a lot of money and it's a lot of work.
Or
And
I feel
then
like you do this really big thing as like a band our size, and we're not going and touring 8 months out of the year or anything like that. So you bust your entire load on this one thing, and then you're starting from scratch, and you have nothing to you got to go back to the drawing board, and then you're a band our size, you got to be in people's faces constantly.
All the
I
time.
feel like. And then you do that album, and then you're depleted for a year or 2
And
until you get some other shit going.
We talked about like the curse of not promoting your old shit as well.
Yeah.
Which we kind of do need to double back on.
Yeah.
But that's still a problem. Like, like you said, we got new stuff that we want to put out. So if you do a whole album, well, there it all went.
Yep.
Congrats.
Yeah.
And you're within the TikTok 15-second flash in the pan. You're gone. That's it.
And it's gone. Yeah, that's why like one of my favorite release styles that was this year was actually the Sleep Token album, where they were doing like a single every 2 weeks or something like that for like 4 singles.
Yeah.
And then they'd like waited a month and a half or something, dropped another one, and then the album came out like late. So it was enough. I think just to keep it. I mean, it was still an album, and they're at the level where they release whatever the fuck they want. It doesn't matter. But
each song was like a boost. So it's like, I don't like the bands that release like basically half the album as singles.
Yeah.
But I also get it in this day and age of having to have the little upticks of getting your Spotify and all that stuff ramped up, and your YouTube channels and stuff ramped up, and everything back in the algorithm if you haven't been that like active or whatever it is. But
Well, the Sleep Token's first record with the 2 weeks for, or was it a month? No, it was 2 weeks. 2 weeks per song.
And they released the whole thing. Yeah,
the whole thing. That was genius. That just caught everybody off guard. They're like, "What the fuck is happening?"
It was like a song, and then it was like, "Oh, it's another one," and then literally when the album released, it was like the last song.
Yeah, Bloodsport. It was just instant soul crusher, and that was like, there's a great way to get them paid attention to at that time when they needed it. And then the next album rollout was normal. It was just tune.
Yeah.
So they had like 2 singles, Alkaline and then Love You Want, and then the record.
Yeah.
And then Eden was what you said. It had like basically an EP because their songs are long enough to accommodate that. Shit's like 6-7 minutes long.
That's fucking true.
Yeah. So like it's long enough to accommodate and keep interest, but the rest of the record is also beefy enough to hold itself whenever it comes out. So they're not really worried about like, oh, we've given away the GOAT. No, they still got it.
No, it still had like great
Still
songs.
had plenty of shit in the background.
And I like
Although,
that.
nobody should ever release the last song on a record before it comes out.
No.
Fucking hate that.
Who did that?
A lot of people do that. Bolivia did that with the GOAT album. I think Dying Wish just did that. Yeah, a lot of people will put out the last song on a record, and it's
I've
like,
never
come
thought
on, man,
about
that's
that.
the crescendo.
Yeah.
I listened all the way through for that.
Because you also, you have to have like a decent. That's why I like.
I guess I do skip the singles whenever the album comes out.
That's
why I don't like all the singles coming out beforehand, because I end up skipping like 30 minutes of an album.
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah. I don't want to miss the last bit, the last impact you've got for me.
Because
you put it out already.
Circling back around to the promoting the old stuff, I feel like bands our level don't take advantage of that as much as they should, because you can honestly think about the like if you think about promoting it, maybe you don't want to because you feel like, oh, everybody's already heard it, but in the grand scheme of things,
there are 8 billion people on Earth. They have not heard it.
And so I always think about that, but then we never implement it because it's one of those things of like new. But the people that follow the page and stuff, they'll be like, oh, they're just promoting old shit, and that's all you think about, or I think about, because I'm constantly promoting everything all the time. But like circling back around, I think for bands our level is crucial to like getting new likes, followers, friends on Facebook, whatever the fuck it is.
I mean, people are paying a little bit more attention to that, promoting your old stuff. Because I mean, you got to think about like, I mean, one of the bigger bands that I just saw like it happened to was like Pierce Seville, Bulls on what's it called?
Bulls in the Bronx.
Bulls in the Bronx. Yeah. Like just got super popular again.
TikTok,
like,
I think.
Yeah, because of TikTok.
Does
and
that
I love
shit.
TikTok.
If a song takes off on there, you just
and you know, like I don't know how long it's been since they gave a thought about that to actually promote it. That was like on organic like promotion, and like I have to believe like even a little bit that it influenced them like writing a whole new album and coming back and doing all that stuff. Like it pushed that, but it's an older song that like people are still rediscovering like older music today for the first time, and they think it's like the greatest thing ever.
Kate Bush running up that hill.
Yeah.
Stranger Things blew her into the fucking stratosphere.
I fucking love that story because she owned
version is so much better.
She owned all that fucking like the song. Like she didn't have a record label, so she got all that actual money,
which is nuts.
I'm like, I was like, that's fucking. I think someone calculated it was like I can't remember how much fucking money it was. I'm like, off of one song,
which is awesome,
shit ton. And I'm like, and then they put it was like, oh yeah, she didn't have a nobody owned her music. She did. And I'm like, that's even fucking.
That's
better.
a bad
like,
bitch.
I love that. Yeah,
bad bitch right there.
Yeah, it's crazy. Nobody does that, especially back
I wish
then.
we could have a song do that.
Right.
Our Spotify, like it's cool. Like our distro kit or whatever, it pulls in. I think like $100 a month.
That's not bad.
Really?
Just off our streams.
That's pretty cool.
So surprising. It's enough to pay for itself, basically.
Yeah. It's just
like
good.
because like the year, whenever you release a new song, there's always new stores and maximizing and all the extra like $10 fee there, $12 fee there of making it be like a forever song. If even if the like
update
you
to your
stop
stores
paying,
automatically.
Yeah.
Where do y'all land on the streaming thing as far as like?
Just listen to it however you fucking want to. I mean,
Shit sucks, but it's all we've got right
yeah,
now.
Yeah.
I mean, there's regardless
absolutely
of
not
anyone's
paying fair.
opinion, it's not going to fucking change at all, which sucks. I mean, you can only boycott so much, and I feel like all the streaming shit. I mean, it just has a chokehold on everything. So
Yeah, looking
just
at it from
kinda
like
have
both
to roll
ends.
with it for a lot of it.
Yeah.
I remember when
Sucks.
streaming first, like having my first app experience with streaming, like something like Spotify, was something called MOG. It was MOG. It's actually what Beats Radio bought out like a while back, but it's literally the exact format that Spotify was. It was the first thing where I was like, you can look up any artist, you can stream whatever. Like it had a very similar thing. Beats came in and fucked it up, like because they were like they had an algorithm for like that, and it works really well, just like the Spotify one does now. But they moved it and they went into curators and had people curating, so you would only hear like certain music. Like it didn't really.
Yup.
Yeah.
See, I always listened to Pandora whenever I was younger. I always felt like the randomizing of their songs was always, and still to this day, superior to Spotify's. I've never really messed with Apple Music. Jameson does, but Spotify's. And I know.
Cheap bastard.
It would always like I would even find it to the point where it's like repeating a song in a playlist,
It'll do that.
and it's just I feel like I don't know, the discovering new music on Spotify was subpar to Pandora and all that stuff. So
Agreed.
Yeah, the opposite effect. My like when I was doing Pandora, like it played a lot of like the same. It's like I was expecting like the same songs. Like I found a lot of stuff, but I don't know. I don't even know how the fuck the algorithm works, to be honest with you. Any algorithms,
Yeah.
social media algorithms, music algorithms, who the fuck
I don't
knows?
know.
Yeah.
People seem to think that they know how it works and give you tips. I'm like,
Somebody
I
up top does, but it sure shit ain't us.
I don't know. I think it just took over. The
I just
AIs.
kind of go with whatever. I'll see something like it's better to post at 9 a.m. Okay, we'll try that.
See, so
If it works, it
that's
kinda
something I
works.
ran into like with like the podcast clips. I was like posting at like I tried like 3 different times, I think, and then I posted like at 10 in the morning, and for some reason it was getting like a bunch of fucking views from like
Just wanna
everywhere.
always do
And it was like,
10 a.m.
and then
too, yeah.
and then like I stopped posting for a little bit. Then I tried it again and consistently posting stuff at the same time, and nothing anymore. I'm like, oh shit, it's gone.
It's been so sporadic for me because like booking the venue and stuff. I have this ritual. It's like I go to the gym in the morning, and as I'm doing the treadmill, I'm promoting. If there's a show that night, I'm promoting on every single social. It's around like 9 a.m. ish, 8 a.m. ish. But I do it, and it never really goes anywhere, especially if it's like every day within like the 24-hour period of not reposting, but posting a new event. And Facebook doesn't like to promote certain events, or they don't like to promote stuff that has too many words on it, or whatever it is. There's all these weird rules, and Instagram's the same way. If it has too many words on it, it's not going to push it as hard. But if you do like the 3 little slides, then it'll pop up multiple times.
It depends on
your
what they
feed.
like, what they're pushing it. I remember when like Reels was getting big for them. They were
Yeah,
like, oh, if you're
it's
posting,
still-
Get away from
yeah,
fucking Reels for a
that's what it
minute.
was. Yeah.
Yep.
They're still pushing Reels like super hard, but
Yep.
I just kind of, it's in a rhythm for me now of every single morning at the gym, on the treadmill, hit every social at least once for like a story. I'll only post, I do Dispo like every 3 to 4 days ish.
Smart.
And it seems to do better than any of the other accounts, but the other accounts have to be posted like almost daily.
Regularly, yeah.
Yeah, just because there's a show almost every night.
Yeah.
So
It's a weird fucking system to work. I'm still trying to like that's what I'm like. So we only have like a few shows for like the rest of the year, and then like my goal, my job that I wanted to have for Noise Art was really I just wanted like to content create, which is what I always have like the most fun with. I'm like, okay, so I want to make stuff that I like and put it out. So that's my whole like concept. But figuring out a rhythm, like it's like okay, like how to figure out like okay, I should bulk film stuff and just edit throughout the week whenever I have time and upload stuff.
Just kind of stuck with the consistency type thing.
So that's the only thing that's going to work
if
for me.
people see it and they like it, then they like it. If they don't, at least they at least know it's always going to be some sort of promotion. If they see it, awesome. If they don't, then
so that's what I was trying to figure out. I figured out my cookie cutter stuff, for example, for like shows. I'm like, oh, this is how I film these type of things, and now I'm having a little more fun with it because I'm getting everybody involved in it. So I'm getting like, you know, DJ to also like film stuff and then Birdie. So I'm like, I feel like that's one of the strong suits that we have is like our personalities.
Yes.
I'm like, oh, okay, I'm gonna use that because we're all like individual.
I run across y'all's like the interview style thing. You're like, we have a show here tonight. When you got the microphone, I always run across those way more than I do like the flyer.
Yeah.
Yes.
Always.
So I'm trying to figure. I mean, that's what I've noticed. I'm like, oh, it pushes these a lot more. So let's do this. I try to do stuff now. I'm figuring out how to do it like during the shows and like try to get like it's work in progress. So like they're not consistent yet, but that's what I want to figure out. I'm like, oh, how do I do show? So we're supposed to do.
It truly is like so much work.
Yeah, because I'm like
that's a full-time job.
Because there was one where I was like at the show and I'm like had the band's like, oh, will you promote that you're playing tonight? Cool. And so I had like film it, went back to the computer, like edited, like and then posted it.
Yeah.
I'm like that's still like 20 minutes at the fastest, like that I'm doing it, and like. And then that's when I noticed I was outside on the computer and the computer was getting hot and I'm like, oh shit, like I didn't even think that into it.
Like even whenever I do shows and I'm trying to talk to the bands that are playing it and I talk to 100 people a day, like so fucking much. And I try to at least day before show is send every band, at least to their band page, a message of like, hey, show day tomorrow. Let's be sure to hit all those socials just one last time. Let's hit those Facebook event invites. It helps more than you think.
Yeah.
Any little thing, post the pre-sale link, whatever it is, like here's your opportunity to at least get one more promo in from each band page to, try, and that it really brings out the people that don't promote or anything, especially when you see numbers correlate to stuff of like, because in this day and age, all we have is social media to like, people aren't going to go out and do flyers. We still do physical flyers for our show sometimes.
It does work sometimes.
I think like I've noticed like the in person or like actually being at like shows and like talking about, but I'm like, and for me I'm like I would love to do that. It's just when the fuck am I gonna have time to do that? Like, cause if I like stand outside of shows like, oh, they might like this band because like they're at this show, sure, that'd be awesome. But like finding the fucking time to just go out and do that is the tough. So that's why like I lean heavy into social media because I'm like, oh, I can film stuff, I can create stuff from here and post them whatever throughout the week,
and that's
convenient.
It's convenient as hell because you can do it anywhere. But like you said, if you're trying to physically go out somewhere, like I can't even find time to sometimes make it to the venue, like with kids, and all that other stuff. Like I got kids, wife, house, dogs, all sorts of shit on top of doing all the dispo stuff, the venue stuff, and everything. It's impossible. So just everything online, if you can utilize all the shit that you can do on social media, it makes a world of difference. But you'd be so surprised of how many people don't.
That's what I get, and that's what like I try to always make stuff for other bands and be like, okay, all you have to do is share it. Like this little thing is about you.
That's it.
Yeah, like I'm showing people like your songs. I'm showing like stuff like about you, like promoting you. Like just share it. Like, and then you don't have time to make anything. It's fine. Like here it is. Just
the big part we don't talk about is how pay to play it is.
Yeah.
If we really had actual ad spend budget, we could dominate
for ads,
everybody.
100%.
But
agree.
we just you have to have that. You have to be making that to do that. One of us has to have fuck you money somewhere to do that, and quite frankly,
Google
we
ads
don't.
have been destroying us.
Really?
And because this is the first time we've released like something like the EP, and so we were trying to like make sure that everything got its own little spots for ads and promo and.
That's the fifth time I've hit that.
That's mine.
Anyway,
but we have just been Google ads. Like I don't really fuck with Facebook ads anymore because
They're kind of difficult.
no one's on Facebook.
Yeah.
Like, well, all bunch of fucking. Well, I guess boomers are on Facebook.
Yeah. Hey,
Jameson's on Facebook. Case in point.
Yeah, but like I'll fuck with like the Instagram ads and stuff. But we've heavily relied on playlist placement for Spotify and stuff, and then just YouTube, Google ads.
Yeah.
And it's hit or miss because I'm not a professional at it.
Yeah.
I've done it for a long time, but I'm not saying I do it correctly.
Yeah, that's the one thing I want to get better at. It's just I hate how little I have interest in like
know,
figuring that part out. I'm just like,
I would love to
I feel
hire
like I need
somebody,
to-
but that shit's
It's
expensive.
so expensive.
Well, having
yeah.
to pay to get all of your stuff to people that already subscribe or follow you is bullshit.
Yeah.
I remember back in the day.
I can post on my MySpace bulletins.
You don't. It's so insane how like they've warped that to where like literally everybody that you're following or like friends with or anything like that, like you're not seeing all their stuff. Like you're seeing a curated like.
I truly
You
remember
see
like
more fucking
Facebook. If
stranger-
you would post something, it didn't show you the people like your insights and all that stuff.
Yeah.
You didn't have because it would go to everyone that liked or followed your
Need
page,
that at that point.
and then they fucking. I mean, it's genius that they put like getting money. From,
They know what they're doing.
They know what they're
it's
doing.
genius.
Yeah,
It's-
it's
I
good
mean,
for
they're
them, but it
billionaires,
sucks
but,
for like
yeah.
the organic reach you were able to get. And like again, when they want to
Organic
push
reach is just
something, they
not a
offer it
thing
to you. So like
anymore.
I think that just started happening with like Instagram's threads. Like they were like, oh, if you post something on there right now because they're trying to push it, you get a shit ton of interaction with it.
Yeah.
I
Right
haven't
now.
gotten shit from Threads.
Oh, I'm
I get a little bit, but it's nothing. I barely post on there. So
What's Threads?
exactly?
exactly. Hopefully
It's
it dies.
Instagram, Twitter.
It's Twitter. versus
Insta
Instagram.
Twitter.
Insta Twitter.
And I don't get any, like, I'll try to do like the flyer promotion and the show promotions on there. And just, if I tweet something, then I'll like copy and paste it over to there. Nothing.
Yeah.
I don't get any type of uptick or anything from anything.
Interesting. That's what I was hearing. Like, like I said, I haven't got on it. Like
A lot of
I don't like
celebrities were
getting-
getting massive boosts on
Yeah.
Threads.
I don't like getting bullied into getting new stuff. It's like your friends want to follow you. I'm just like, well, fuck them. Like,
eat shit.
yeah. Fuck yeah, it's a complicated game out there. But y'all are some of the hardest fucking working people that I know. Like, it's definitely
We try.
super shown. I think that's like what I've like got from y'all that I love that I don't know, the hustle's just evident. Like y'all are fucking, again, it goes back to like you are doers. Like you are doing shit. Like it's not more about like what could we do. It's like, oh yeah, like it's the what could we do with the follow up. I'm like, let's fucking do that.
I think we're too goddamn stubborn to really like. We have places where we're like, yeah, we'll bring in a person to help with this thing, but for the most part, we're just like. I think I heard it put best.
Give us attention.
Gary V, the guy on Facebook who's always talking like this. That
Yeah.
He
Hey, that's a spot on game.
right. you have to go. You have to buy this stuff from a garage sale and flip it. That's exactly how that dude is.
That's
But he was given a talk about being a CEO, and some guy asked a question. He was like, "How do I get my employees to go the extra mile, to put in the extra effort?" And Gary was like, "Why the fuck would they? It's not their business. They don't sign the paychecks. They don't give a shit. What you need to do is you need to make a better environment for them." So why would anybody else give a fuck about our stuff as much as we do?
Oh, it's such a harsh reality, too.
Yeah,
no one
we
gives a
want
fuck.
we want to hire people
No
to
one
do
cares.
shit, but like I've been I had a whole record I sent out once for when I was in Cycles and Circles, sent it out to get mixed, and it came back and the stems were all like off time and messed up, and
Oh,
I
I
couldn't get
remember
the
you
guy.
telling me
Yeah,
about
I
this,
couldn't get the
yeah.
guy to fix it, and it was like $1,000 down the drain. So like what I'm so jaded about that shit. Like I don't want to work with other people because I don't trust them
No
to
one
do the
I think
job.
No one's gonna put the
cares.
effort
No
in
one
that
gives
you're-
a
No one
shit.
gives a
Yeah.
fuck. That's why we
Oh,
buy.
it sucks so. I never try to think about it because it hurts my own feelings all the time. It's like
Yeah.
no one gives a shit.
Yep.
No one
I mean,
fucking
and I think
cares.
that's. I mean, when you do find the people that like you work with and are comfortable with, it becomes those people that like you trust with your stuff because they, in some capacity, show that they do care.
Yeah.
About what this, but like just going to like random people and like trusting people, like they don't. You know, like they just.
I've tried to do that with so many different things of like a merch design, a fucking. I mean. A logo, anything,
Yeah.
anything that like it wasn't Zaylen or Daniel Hambright. Shout out Daniel Hambright.
Honestly, I was literally about to bring up
Shout out
Daniel's like the
Daniel.
one like person
worked
that
with
I
him for-
trust him with everything.
I trust him
I've
with my
worked with him
life.
for
Yeah.
over a decade, and he's done so many music videos and merch, and I mean, you name it, any type of promo material, he's done it, and he just nails it.
And he
That's-
loves
that's
doing it.
one
Like,
of
I
those-
feel like he puts
That's it.
Yeah.
that into because we've been talking to him. There's so many times where like we've brought up to him. I mean, don't really want him to, but you're like, it's like, hey, like you need that. You don't charge enough. Like you do.
I
Really
know.
great work.
Absolutely,
Like,
yeah.
everyone tells him,
Daniel Hambright, charge more for your fucking art.
and then he's like,
I tell
he could
everyone
be
like
doing
he
like
could be doing. That's what I was about to say.
yeah,
Huge tour.
Big shit.
Huge stuff.
Big shit.
but he wants to keep it here, and I'm like, dude,
Yeah.
you know how like, I don't know, like if that doesn't warm your heart to work with that person, like when they are purposely keeping themselves because they actually enjoy helping out like the people in their seat. I'm like, that's
Wild.
so
I
fucking
recommend
crazy.
everyone to him.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. I was like,
Any
anything.
post I see, like, hey, who can I get this? He's
Daniel fucking Hambright.
top
Yeah.
3 in every single post.
Absolutely.
And like, I want to be a graphic designer so bad, and I'll make like I try, and I get some stuff that looks it's okay, you know, it's hey, that's not half bad. And then we'll put my shirts up on the rack or whatever, and people will look at them and be like, okay, that's neat. Can I get that one? And it's always the one Daniel designed every fucking time.
Yeah. All of our merch designs, it's like 50-50 Daniel and Zaylin. But he did the most recent Death Rattle one.
And Daniel outsells me 10-1
Damn,
every time.
We've had to
good.
re-up like 3 times on that
He's just
shirt.
fucking like creative
He's so
in
good.
every aspect. He's the one that actually named Chill Sounds and Breakdowns.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh,
that's so sick.
Jesus
Yeah,
Christ.
and it
He's
was
so
like
good
the
at
most
that
like
shit.
logic just thing. He's like, his DJ
Yeah.
was like describing to him, was like, yeah, like we're gonna have like heavy bands, you know, this and that, and then like some some more calm stuff like for everybody. And he's like, okay, so you got breakdowns in Chill Sounds, like yeah, just call it Chill Sounds and Breakdowns, and it was like the most like he connected
does this
those
shit, he's
fucking
like,
dots,
And
yeah,
then you have this eureka moment. He's like, what?
yeah,
He
and I'm
sees
like,
it
yes.
coming before everybody else. It's
Yeah,
nuts.
I love that dude so much.
He's an asshole. I hate him.
Yeah.
Hate you, Daniel.
Well, y'all
God
have
damn it.
release in November.
Hopefully.
Hopefully, we'll get some
Yeah.
stuff in there. Maybe this
Next
year, at
show's October. Monster Mosh. Buy our tickets.
least. Monster Mosh.
And then next single, music video, all that shit. November. No definitive date, but November.
Yeah, so around there.
I'm good with that.
Go stream the EP.
Please, God.
Stream the EP
Specifically the Firewoman
Don't do that one. Don't do that one.
For you is a
Stream
good
that
song.
one more.
For You is a good song.
I appreciate y'all stopping by. Honestly, this is super fun. And yeah, I'm super excited for everything y'all are working on. Y'all are doing some cool shit. The EP was fucking amazing. I'm glad that I finally got my song. Mia Khalifa. Maybe that's how I'll know it in my heart.
Mia Khalifa all day.
All day.
Mia, if you see this, I can take care of you. Anyway.
I believe him. But yes, thank you guys for stopping by. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for listening. We will see you next time.
Time inside, better lose your man. We should run away, love me instead.
Chill Sounds and Breakdowns.
Love me instead. Time inside, better lose your man. We should run away together while we still can.